Dedicated Marine. Even in high school, that was what he wanted to be. It's all he talked about, I want to be a Marine. As soon as we graduated, he enlisted. He loved it. Went to Iraq and fought in Fallujah. I believe that was where he received his first Purple Heart. Came home and he did 3 tours, and in each one there was some injury that occurred. He couldn't go out into the battlefield anymore, and that was a struggle for him. He was, like I said, truly dedicated, and leaving his brothers behind was crushing for him.
When he was discharged, he had long-standing effects of brain injury. He had some language issues, cognitive problems, mostly with memory, attention, problem-solving kinds of things, problems dealing with that reintegrating back. Through the VA, he started speech therapy services, and eventually, while participating in therapy, he started doing volunteer work, and ultimately was hired by Congressman Denham to be the liaison for Veterans Affairs.
And that was a really nice position because he wanted to go out and help other veterans, and that was a nice position for him to go out. Veterans could call him and say, hey, we're having problems with this, in different areas, and he was able to immediately help them and, just reach out to the community, let them know that, there were services for veterans.
He was willing to put himself out there. I can't imagine, with the issues he's dealing with in terms of his brain injury and his PTSD, that it has to be very difficult to put yourself in a situation like going to Washington or being on these committees and facing the press and having people ask you all these questions. And I think that it was pretty brave to put himself out there.
Kurtis will do what it takes to make sure that everybody else gets what they need to. He cares so much about his other brothers in the Marines or any branch of the military, and after him going through the struggles that he went through coming home, he wants to make sure that nobody else has to go through the same steps that he had to take, make it easier on them. And he's one that, hey, this is what I went through, I don't want you to do this either, you need to go do this.
Frequently he'll be speaking, and he always introduces his speech pathologist and his counselor, and he always talks about how much they helped him. He can describe specific strategies that he's learned and implemented, and I think that he is experiencing a lot of the same problems that many of our vets face when they come home. Because of that, they really identified with him. So for him to stand up and talk to them about, what worked for him and how it helped, it was so much more meaningful than one of us therapists or counselors standing up and talking to the others.
He's such a fighter. He could have laid down and gave up, and he's kind of one of those guys that if it wasn't one thing, it was another. There was some personal stuff. There was, on top of the brain injury, financial issues. There's always something's always throwing a wrench his way, but he still stays very positive. He's just a wonderful dad, and actually took on his ex-wife's kids and raised them as his own. He's just gone above and beyond, not only as a soldier, but as a person. He's just an amazing guy.
I always felt like he was so positive, and sometimes you just wonder how he could be so positive because he had a lot of challenges.
I know what a strong person he is, and I feel like he lost that confidence after leaving the Marines because that's all he knew. And now he's seeing that there's so much more that he can do. And he's so bright and so driven and touches so many lives, and he doesn't realize it. And this award, I think, is just what he needs, and he deserves to be recognized for what he's capable of.